to meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Monday morning, the final day of September, and it has been so warm for several days now. It was a warm to even hot weekend this past weekend. We had highs well into the 80s, if not even 90s for most of us out there. But change is coming in the form of a cold front, which is sitting in northwest Nebraska this morning. A couple of clouds with it, but not much. But notice the winds behind the front today as this pushes southeastward here. I'm actually going to advance this very slowly southeastward to show you the timing when it passes through the Tri-Cities area. For those that are watching North Platte, probably mid-morning, 9, 10 o'clock. Tri-Cities area, Kearney, about noon. Closer to maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock for GI and Hastings, kind of that time frame roughly. But look at the winds behind this thing as it passes through. Very few clouds, just a couple of clouds, not very many though. Still see plenty of sun. The winds out of the north and the northwest, these are going to be quite strong today. We're going to see sustained winds get up around 15 to 25 miles per hour and occasional gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour. So strong winds are expected, and these will continue into the early evening hours. The front will pass through southeast Nebraska early this evening. Wind's still pretty strong, even through about 9 o'clock, still pretty gusty out there. They'll start to slowly come down later in the night. Let's take you to midnight. And then further into the night, as we get closer to tomorrow morning, look off to the northwest, high pressure building into northwest Nebraska. That's where the lightest winds are going to be, right in here. Very light winds, usually around high pressure. Still a touch breezy in eastern Nebraska. We'll see 5 to 10 mile per hour winds here, 5 to 15 here, 0 to 5 right in here. Where these winds are dying down, skies are clear. It's going to be a chilly morning out there tomorrow morning. But high pressure scooting overhead, that's going to keep us on the pleasant side for your Tuesday. A couple of clouds around. Already out west, though, southerly winds reestablishing themselves. So after a very chilly start, temperatures will be rising quite a bit here. And then tomorrow night, not quite as cold with that high pushing to the east, and we'll have that southerly wind. So these will keep temperatures up a little bit for Tuesday night and a Wednesday morning. You can see still a few clouds around as well. I'm going to call it clear to partly cloudy across the area as we look ahead to Wednesday morning. And Wednesday itself, those south winds are going to crank up a little bit, and that's going to help to heat things up a little bit here as we look towards the Wednesday time frame. For another cold front comes through Wednesday night into Thursday. Well, speaking of cold fronts, you can see with the cool front coming through, the coolest temperatures right in here. Temperatures in the 70s, maybe even not getting above 70 here in Gordon. We'll get up into the 80s in the Tri-Cities, but this could be an early afternoon high temperature. I think as we get further into the afternoon, that temperature will be dropping. It could be closer to maybe 80 by 5 o'clock and then down into the 70s pretty quickly into the evening hours. Lower 90s, southeastern areas right in here because of the timing of the cold front being so late in the day. But look at the air that's coming by tomorrow morning. 30s and 40s, so quite cool for those of us that are in southern and eastern areas. Straight up chilly to the northwest. High pressure right here tomorrow morning. I should do that there, clockwise rotation. And this is cold enough for some frost to develop. So if 35 or colder, areas of frost will be a possibility. We do see some nice recovery tomorrow, upper 60s and low to mid 70s. So tomorrow is actually going to be a pretty typical early October day out there for the first day of October. But it's about the only one of those that we'll really see, unfortunately. Excuse me, not quite as cold for tomorrow night and a Wednesday morning, 40s and lower 50s for lows. And then here for Wednesday, we are right back up into the 80s and even lower 90s. So another very warm day on Wednesday with some breezy southerly winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour. Jumping ahead to Thursday real quick, we get another cold front that's going to come through, so temperatures do come down a little bit. Highs in the 70s and 80s, your warmest temperatures in the south and the east. Well, let's take a look at the extended forecast. You see it here. Again, temperatures going from warm today to windy conditions this afternoon to much cooler tomorrow, then right back to warm and breezy on Wednesday. Temperatures coming back down a little bit Thursday and Friday behind a cold front. Not as big of a drop though. And then the weekend right now, this first weekend of October is looking quite warm once again. Now we'll mention Harvest to Harmony Parade, first Saturday in October. That right there is important about the time people are lining up outside for the parade, 8:30 in the morning. Not bad. 50s to start, and it will quickly warm up here. So kids will not have to worry about being too cold, I think, in downtown Grand Island on Saturday morning. Maybe too warm for some, though. But very warm temperatures are expected, and we're really not going to see any dramatic drops in temperatures, unfortunately, here. The warm weather looks like it's going to be sticking around into the first part of next week, and I should say warm and dry weather. No moisture in the forecast over the next 7 to 10 days. North Platte, kind of cooling down already today with some windy conditions out there, gusts maybe up to 40 miles per hour or so. Then chilly tomorrow morning, and then a very pleasant afternoon. But heating right back up on Wednesday to the lower 90s. Then behind a cold front, though, temperatures do come down Thursday and Friday a little bit, at least. A little more comfortable there. But then another warm weekend ahead of us here. Highs could be close to 90 on Saturday. And I mentioned the forecast for Tri-Cities and North Platte. If you're heading to Lincoln for the Husker game, that's a Saturday afternoon kickoff at 3 o'clock. Could be pretty warm. Hopefully the temperatures come down by the end of the game, as the sun's getting close to setting by that point. I don't think it'll set till after the game, but because it's a 3 o'clock start time there. But it'll be pretty warm out there, Memorial Stadium, until that shadow of the western press box starts to kind of cover up some of the field and some of the crowd. Then it'll help out a little bit here. So expect some very warm conditions out there for the Husker game in Lincoln. Looking at the forecast, the long-range forecast for North Platte, tomorrow's really the one really cool day. Otherwise, we are pretty much all above average in the extended part of the forecast. And in fact, as you look at 2 weeks out, this is the 7th through the 13th of October for the Climate Prediction Center. We are likely to be above average. All the cool air to our east, very warm air over central and western portions of the U.S. And we're going to stay on the dry side as well, unfortunately. There is not much moisture in our forecast, unfortunately. It's just going to be a few clouds around, but there's just not much moisture to find for our area over the next 7 to 10 days. That's the European model. GFS model is pretty similar. Doesn't have much for our area. Maybe it tries to sneak in maybe a little bit down the road, but not really. So likely to be dry through probably at least the 10th of October, the way it looks right now, maybe even beyond that. Let's look at the extended forecast European model-wise. Again, very warm again today in the southeast, but here comes that cooler air tonight and into tomorrow. Then it's kind of sneaking back to the east on Wednesday, so we're warming right back up Wednesday. Then our next shot of cooler air Thursday and Friday. It's not as dramatic as the one that's coming in later today, tonight, but some cooler air in place. But then we're warming right back up Saturday and Sunday, and it tries to cool down every once in a while, but then temperatures just kind of warm right back up. So these cool shots are only brief little periods of cool air, but overall most days are still going to be above average. And you can see even into next week, there's no real shot of cool air coming anytime soon. GFS model's not going to show too many differences that I'm aware of anyway here. There's the cooler air tomorrow. We're warming right back up Wednesday. Another shot of some slightly cool air Thursday, Friday. But notice how the really cool stuff, the fall stuff, the blue, that stays to our north. And we're heating back up Saturday and Sunday there. And we're going to stay on the warm side right into most of next week. No big cool down coming next week at all. So if you're a fan of the warm late summer weather like we've been seeing recently, expect a lot more of that. If you're a fan of the fall weather, enjoy tomorrow, because we're not going to get much of it otherwise in the long range part of our forecast. Thank you all for watching on this Monday morning. I'll be back with you on Tuesday as we begin the month of October. Talk to you all later. Have a good one. Bye.